Come in, Can.
Hello, Chris.
Hello.
Oh, yes, very
Can
good.
Can you see this?
Still got it, mate.
Look, I'm actually Scarlett Johansson's B-side.
Yeah.
Vinyl.
Yeah,
I'm on the other side of Deadline Hollywood.
could be worse. Couldn't be much better. So we're talking to Bono live in Cannes. Does that mean you got to drive to work this morning?
Well, no, I kind of, I jumped off a helicopter with, your man from Mission Impossible. Brilliant. He dropped me off.
Bono,
Yeah,
I've seen
so it's another superhero movie. I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. Bono, I watched the film yesterday, Stories of Surrender. Oh my gosh, what a piece of work. I mean, I would say that, wouldn't I? But it also happens to be true. It is Pan Bono. It's everything Bono. It's loads of U2. Eileen has sent us this. Good morning, Chris. Question for Bono. I'm a former pupil of Mount Temple Comprehensive School, Dublin 2. Can you ask Bono about his memories of the band's first gig at school outside the old block on the concrete platform?
Wow, that's a beautiful memory. And not that the band were very beautiful, but at the time. But yeah, this was kind of like, well, how would I describe Man Temple Comprehensive? It was like Erinsborough, if anyone watched Neighbours. Do you remember Neighbours with Kylie Minogue and Margot Robbie? That's what this whole Stories of Surrender is about. It's really about neighbours and families. And yeah, Mount Temple Comprehensive is right in the middle of it. And it's this school where we all met. And I asked my missus out and she agreed. The same week I joined you too. And that might have been the same week we played in the yard of the Mount Temple Comprehensive. Adam Clayton looking splendid. He looked like the only one who knew what a rock star was.
You say in Stories of Surrender, you say that when you got together as a band, you say that Dave, the Edge, could play the guitar, Larry could play the drums, Adam really couldn't play the bass, and I really couldn't sing. How did you fix all that?
The word is out. The word is still out on some of that. I mean, Adam was the first manager of the band. He had Adam Clayton, manager of U2, printed up on these cards. And he just, he was just very unique and extraordinary. And then when he eventually learned to play the bass, became very unique and extraordinary as a bass player. I think I've only recently learned what the voice can do. When we came out of punk rock, I was more of a shouter. And it's funny because my father wanted, was a tenor. He's the sort of star of Stories of Surrender. And he's the one who said to me, "You're a baritone who thinks he's a tenor." And that was a very accurate description. But now I think I'm starting to come to grips with the fact that I have a voice and I can do things with it. And if I've got the right songs and the band, are there like no one else, I can sing them.
You say you're starting to come to terms with it, which is hilarious, and unusually modest. I'm sure you'll agree as far as you're concerned. You talk about this, Bono Stories of Surrender. You talk about the tall tales of a short rock star, which is hilarious. The voice is great. You can hide in plain sight, can't you, in front of hundreds of thousands of people in a stadium, and tens of millions of people via your record sales. And then you can also agree with yourself, make a deal with yourself to appear naked in a show like this. For people who don't know what Stories of Surrender is, can you frame it for a minute for us, please, if you don't mind?
I think that is you've just got it. It's like that dream where you wake up naked in front of the whole school and you're not Adam Clayton. And because he used to run naked through Man Temple. He was a famous streaker. But I think I'm trying to, as best I can, dismantle the artifice that I set up for most of my life and that U2 allowed me to set up, which is, the armor you put on as a rock star. You have your sword and your shield and whatever else. And I thought it was time to take it off and at least impersonate a more modest person. And because all that, bravado, as you know, all that macho, it's all kind of nonsense. It usually is coming from a very defensive place, and all this stuff goes back to when you're a kid and you're trying to get the attention of your father, who's busy thinking about something else. In our case, I was in a family. I lost my mother at 14. Happens to a lot of people. But the strange thing was we just never talked about her. My father never talked about her, and we never talked about her. So I lost a lot of those memories and of her. So I wrote the book to try and retrieve some of those memories. And then on this stage play, which the film is based on, I got to sort of play my father. I got to play the members of U2. I got to play my sort of most important role with my father was the role of impressing Luciano Pavarotti. And because my dad was a tenor, he thought this was incredible that Luciano Pavarotti was remotely interested in the singer of U2.
Love it. Yeah, Pavarotti and the Pavarazzi. That was very funny.
Yeah, in Dublin, that's how we go. Oh, yeah, the Pavarazzi. Yeah, that's right.
I love it.
Pavarazzi.
You also do a killer impression. I mean, you round the whole thing off with you sort of metamorphosizing from a baritone into a tenor, which is wonderful and spine chilling. But you also do give a killer impression of Pavarotti on the phone. I know you're short of time, but you got to give us a bit of Pavarotti on the phone, Bono. Come on.
What I learned was you don't do the big Italian voice, but it was more breathing. It was Bono, Bono, Bono. So have you finished the song for me by now? Or am I still to speak to God? Or do you think you might be God and I have to speak to you first? This kind of thing. It's, it was all about the breathing with him. And then with my dad, what I did was, it was really about just with the turning of my head, left or right. So everyone's got an asymmetrical face. This is my young side.
Oh.
See it on the radio. This is my old side. And I would just turn left and right and become my father. And the truth is, even though I was combative with my father over my teenage years and even into my 20s, I really learned to not just love him, which I always did, but I learned to like him. And by playing him, I realized he was very funny, and those put down lines were brilliant. So he's the star of this film, really.
All right, mate. I know you got to go. Stories of Surrender. It is awesome. It's out in a couple of weeks' time on Apple TV Plus.
Love that you're looking so fit.
Hey, mate.
You're running so fast.
All right.
Sprinting in the marathon.
Having a go. Having a go. Cheers,
Thanks.
Bono.
Thanks.
Lots of love. Bye-bye.